Okay. Thank you. I'm Douglas Fraser. I'm going to try to update you on the manufactured home issues that are happening at the city. First issue is we're still doing the hearings for Cordova and Greenbrier mobile home parks. We're still working on the rent increases. Supposed to have been started January 1st, 2016, but the city has been overwhelmed and now we're still in the process. There's been an alternate elected to the panel to replace Greenbrier's resident representative. Her name is Kay Davis. She's from Mulberry Mobile Home Park. The new elections are coming out in August for the complete panel member elections. There's 4 panel members will be elected, and then the 5th panel member will be selected by the 4 to be the 5th panel member. And the city has declared that anybody that doesn't have a financial interest or any type of interest in a mobile home park can be nominated. So anybody that wants to be on a panel and be the 5th member should start contacting the city or going through and seeing what it takes. The next panel meeting will be June 23rd, a week from tomorrow, 6 o'clock at City Hall. So we're inviting all to come down. Public Brown Act meeting, so there'll be public participation. Anybody can express their needs on Proposition E or any other disgusting issues they want to talk about. And that's pretty much where we are. Come down a week from Thursday and enjoy the kangaroo court as it's been described.
Well, I just want to thank Al and the Canyon Country Advisory Council for allowing the free and open debate that we had on Measure E. We didn't make it, but we were very close. These Prop 39 bonds are very dangerous to the taxpayers, and we need to monitor them. Going forward, we need people to volunteer for the Oversight Committee, somebody that doesn't give a damn if they get the Silver Spur Award, that doesn't care if they go to the club meetings, because we need people that are going to overlook that. Even more important, we need people to overlook the Oversight Committee. So if you want to get involved, look at that. I also think every one of the trustees needs to be knocked out of their positions, starting with Bruce Fortine and Steve Zimmer this very fall. So if you're in their district, they don't give a damn about the districts, whether the students come in. You can bet they care about the districts. They sure cared a lot about the districts they gerrymandered themselves into. So with that...
that means, Steve, that someone has to run.
Yes, you're right. I mean, hey, but, with all due respect to the trustee that's here tonight,
Just to be clear, I'm also up for re-election as well. In the interest of clarity.
Okay, I can't tell. I mean, I look at maps and...
You can tell if you click on the button. It shows each district and who...
Well, how many districts are up in November? Who's up?
Zimmer, Meade, and Fortin.
I didn't know. Well, thank you, Michelle, for making that clear. Thank you, Al. I know I got 1 minute. At least COC gives you 5 minutes. The city only gives you 3. That's one thing I was good to say about COC is public participation. They give you 5 minutes. So. Hey, well, thank you, everybody.
I just have a couple of questions actually for you. One, if they hired if the city hired an independent firm to oversee, the city, they're answering to the city already. The city picked someone to oversee them. It's not independent. So who is going to oversee the committee to look at at what's going on in the city. I'm a little confused about that.
Who's going to oversee the overseers?
Right. I mean, if they hired him, it's already prejudiced.
Well, you know, from my standpoint, I look at it this way. Having worked in a large company, you turn around and you want to buy something, you have a purchasing department. Purchasing department goes out and evaluates who the person should be to, or the company should be to fulfill your needs, and then monitors that they get their job done. So the city has a purchasing department too, but it seems like they make the purchase of who should maintain the medians, and then they decided that they need somebody to monitor the contractors that they purchased, and obviously
No. I'm
to
talking about the guy who embezzled the $500,000.
Oh, the guy that embezzled $500,000?
And
okay,
they have
I'm on the wrong subject.
forensic.
As usual, I'm on the wrong place. At the wrong time.
They have a forensic auditing firm that they hired, so it's already prejudiced.
I understand what you're saying exactly. And yes, that's probably true. I think one of the things that I've noticed when I look at the audit reports from the existing audit reports of the financials. Now, I understand, and I was on the Financial Accountability and Audit Panel, so I understand that the auditors only were auditing for accounting practices. They weren't auditing for validity of entries. And at the same time, I looked at their report, and I always saw the report always said the same thing. Yeah, we found a few things, but they were all corrected, so we don't have to worry about anything. And I think you're absolutely right. If you hire somebody to go do an audit of you, and you go away with them, allow the audit to occur in a very closed manner, yes, you're asking them to come back and give you the answer you want to hear. So, yeah, I don't think that's a surprise. Now, this forensic audit, that this is a different auditing company. They have asked for audits of purchasing, and from, I believe, what Tim Ben told me last night, that they had increased the contract for this one company that was doing those kind of audits. And now you know that they're going to have to come back finding some kind of an issue or a problem. And if they don't, if they come back and say, oh yeah, everything's great, then the next person will steal another $500,000. So this time, they're going to want them to come back with the issue.
Except it seems very skewed. Everything the city does is skewed to their advantage. They write an ordinance which they don't follow, and nothing happens. They give money on Measure E, where we won't even talk about the measure, but SCTV is funded by the city. It's against federal law, and nothing's happening to them. I mean, how do we go about getting a forensic outside auditing company to audit the city because everything they do is illegal?
Well,
they gave money and allowed SCTV to have yes on E, okay? They give money to that company. They gave no equal time to no on E, and number one, it's illegal. It needs to be reported to the election committee because that's election fraud. It's FCC violations, and nobody does anything. With the manufactured homes, they have an ordinance. They decided we're not hearing you after 4 letters that we received at our park, and they get away with it. How do we get someone to go after the city?
Well, you can help solve that problem on November the 8th.
But even if you and Tim Ben both get in, that's 2, and they always talk about 3 people. Why does Ken get to bring something to the city council, yet a city council member who is elected by the people can't bring it?
Well, that's because the city council voted to do that. That the majority of the council voted so that the majority of the council had to agree to put something on the agenda. Our city council have abdicated their role. I think it's pretty obvious they've abdicated their role in many cases to allow staff to do more than staff should be doing. And the only way that's going to change is if they violate some law where the Attorney General is going to come down on them, or we elect some different people on the council that are willing to say to the city manager, this is the city manager, this is your job, and we're not going to interfere with what you do, but you're not going to interfere with what we do either. And when that happens, when you get that kind of arrangement where everybody understands their boundaries, you get a much better situation. Today, I believe staff is acting in a part like the council should, and the council is not taking exception to it. So that's the only way it's going to change. I remember one of the most interesting little books. Anybody remember the 1 Minute Managers? Did anybody ever work when they distributed 1 Minute Manager books? And they distributed this 1 Minute Manager book. It was called The Game of Work. I don't know if anybody have ever seen that. And what it said was that people do their best work when they understand what the playing field is. And as long as they stay inside their own playing field and don't try to go outside it and take some, change the rules, it works best. And I think that's what's got to happen in the city of Santa Clarita. The city manager has a definite responsibility and a job for the day-to-day operation of the city. And those kinds of day-to-day decisions are decisions that they should make. But the city council is the one that sets the rules, the goals, and the criteria to which the city manager and the city gets measured to. That's no different than any other corporation anywhere. And as long as everybody knows their role and is doing what they're supposed to be doing, everything works well. But when they start crossing the rules, when they start trying to do things that are outside their playing field, that's when we get what we've got today. And I agree with you. They passed the ordinance for the rent control ordinance, and then they decided, well, we're not going to follow it. It's absolutely absurd, and the council should have been the ones to say, no, this is the ordinance that we passed, and you should be following it. But so I'm telling you, the only way that we're going to solve this is starting on November the 8th, and then on November the 8th again, 2 years from now. Okay? So
Well, one other quick question. What does the mayor of Santa Clarita do other than photo ops? Seriously.
The mayor of Santa Clarita is a ceremonial position, and they act as the spokesperson for the city. They should have no other authority any more than any other council person. So that's just
Well, none of the council people have authority. They vote on stuff, and then Ken Strickland and everybody else does what they want.
I can't keep debating this here, but I'll be more than happy to debate with you right after the meeting. So I want to thank everybody for choosing to attend the Canyon Country Advisory Committee, and I hope you choose to come back and see us again next month.